Hi. So here I am in Botanical Gardens,
Melbourne,
and with
colonial
Violet
state of Victoria,
and Brad, and they are amazing activists from many states of Australia. So why don't you start with which places you've had or are having court cases in, which states? So would you like to start, Violet?
I've got 2 cases pending at the moment, one in Canberra for unreasonable obstruction of a road, and the other in Lutruwita, Tasmania, which is for protecting the giant trees in Medina. So that was like staying on enclosed lands without authority or whatever. And interestingly, for the second one, Uncle Jim from the Palawa Pakana people has said that I actually have permission to be on country, and so during the court case I'll be putting towards the courts what jurisdiction that they have to say that I was unreasonably or unlawfully on a land when they're the colonizing court. They have no jurisdiction on stolen land. And then
I've got 3 court cases coming up. So I've got Tasmania, Lutruwita, April the 9th. I've got Melbourne on February the 17th, a 5-day trial with a gun legal team of barristers and solicitors all representing me pro bono. They're pushing the necessity defence, which is experimental litigation, but that's very exciting. And then I'm back in court in Canberra on the 29th of January. So, 3 cases on the go at the moment.
Excellent. Thank you both very much. But more interestingly, you guys got married recently. So congratulations.
Thank you.
best day of my life.
Tell us the story about how you got engaged.
Well, it started with an action. Brad had a dream that we would block the Westgate Bridge together, and in the planning for that action he turns to me and he says, what would you do if I proposed to you while we're on the bridge? And I said, I don't think that's the right message that we're as cute as that is, I don't think that's the right message. And so it seeded an idea. And then from that action, we were sentenced each to 2 months in prison, and we were in adjoining prisons. We were next door to each other, and we'd write to each other every day and about the sunsets and the different birds like bunjil would fly over, and then but my very first letter that I sent to Brad was a proposal, because I think when you get locked up and you're just nothing but those 4 walls, you realize what's really important, and that love really conquers all, and it just turned their whole oppression and repression into something beautiful and something that made us stronger, which is always the goal.
Amazing.
It was a real game changer. I had written letters nearly every day at that stage and hadn't heard anything, because everything is slow in prison. It's painfully slow, as anyone who's done time will attest. And I was hanging it to get some mail and starting to really pine. And I got this bundle of letters, and the top one said, open this one first, and there's this beautiful proposal letter. And I did a happy dance in my cell. And
happy dance in your cell? Because you can't be too happy in prison.
You can't be too happy in prison. People, what's up with you? It's a sort of bit of a red rag to a bull. But a lot of people having bad days in there, it's fair to say. But
and what date did you get the letter?
It was on the date of our anniversary, our monthly anniversary. It arrived on the 3rd. Yeah, and I got a message back to Violet by the next day. We have this 2-day anniversary thing as a long story.
It was a 2-day negotiation process.
Yeah. So,
yeah. And then I just happened to call that support network person that had the message for me. So it was all very serendipitous.
And just on support networks, this person over here was incredible support. And if you're doing prison time and you have a support network, that too is a game changer. So much credit to Kath for answering all those phone calls and
Passing our mushy messages to each other.
And and just being a genuine support on the outside and having very valuable conversations and keeping me informed about things that were going on and keeping your spirits up. You know, it's a real circuit breaker when you're inside and you can ring someone on the outside and just have a little chat and put your big brave face on and credit where it's due.
I knew that was a brave face. didn't fool me.
Some days braver than others, but yeah.
And we are actually at the resting place for First Nations people of Naarm, and we're about to go through a ceremony. And next Sunday is Invasion Day, so we're preparing for that.
Yeah, and there'll be a dawn service here on the morning of Invasion Day. I think it's either the 5th or the 6th one, and that was originally started by Lydia Thorpe. It was her initiative originally, and her uncle, Robbie Thorpe, as last Invasion Day, after the rally, came back here and claimed this space and said, we're going to occupy this space. And as a series of demands that he's put on the Melbourne City Council, and one of those is to rename the area. Currently has a very colonial name, King something or other.
King's Domain.
King's Domain, yeah. So they've agreed they're going to change the name to something more appropriate. They're going to put in a garden, a memorial garden, because of the remains that are buried here. It's a very special place, and it was originally a place of ceremony for the first people here as well. And there's even talk.
It was open air prison here as well. It was a reserve.
Wow, yeah, it was one of the first concentration camps, really. Yeah.
Was it?
Yeah. Before the real estate was too valuable and they moved them further out, because it's all capitalism's all about real estate and private property, as we know. But there's also talk of like an information centre being built here as well.
Cultural centre.
Cultural centre, information centre, yeah. So First Nations people can come and gather and organise and tell their story and practice culture, yeah.
Good.
Very important space.
Thank you both.
Thank you.
Violet, Brad,
Catherine.
and Kathy. Thank you all.